Hello and welcome to this lesson about order of operations. The learning target of this video is to learn to correctly apply order of operations. Now before we get into it, I want to make an analogy. So my analogy is about watching TV. Think about the process you use to use a TV. Perhaps you have one of those setups where you have to have like 3 different remotes just to watch TV. You have one that turns on the TV, you have one that controls whatever the device is that you use for streaming services, and then maybe you got another one for like the cable box or something like that. Now think about this, there's a process. Even if you only have one remote, like a universal remote, and that's what I have. I have to do the TV select button, power to turn on the TV, and then I switch the remote to either the DVD player or to my Roku box. And then from there I can scroll and I could go to Hulu, I could go to Netflix, I could go to Disney Plus, I could go to any of these streaming services there is. And from there I can find it. Now imagine this. Imagine you didn't turn on the TV first and you tried just using the remote blind. So just using the remote blind. Could you find your favorite thing to watch? Do you know how far you need to click left, right, up and down, when you hit OK, when you hit enter, all that other stuff? If you can do that, kudos to you. And if you can do that, you figured out order of operations in the real world. Now, mathematically speaking, order of operations is not quite that exciting. It's an acronym, which is a word that stands for, or a word in which each letter stands for something else. So, P stands for parentheses. E stands for exponents. M is multiplication. D is division. A is addition. And S is subtraction. And what it is it's a guideline. You work left to right, and you work with the things that you see first. So you start off with any parentheses, then you work your way to exponents, and then you do your multiplication and division, and you do your addition and subtraction. And when it comes to, subtraction should be a subtraction sign. There we go. When it comes to this, notice how you do some of these in groups. So you do your multiplication division in groups, and again, you're always going to do it left to right, and same with addition and subtraction. And in fact, you can really think of PEMDAS as PIMA, because there are ways you can manipulate numbers to effectively get rid of division and subtraction. And so you kind of work with these groups. You deal with anything in parentheses, then you do your exponents, your multiplication or division, and addition and subtraction. So we could talk about this a lot, but I think it'd just be best to take a look at some examples. So let's take a look at an example here. In this first one, we have 8 times 6 minus 4 squared. Now what I want to do is off to the side write my acronym, PEMDAS. And I'm going to work through it. So I don't have any parentheses, so I'm going to cross the P out. But I do have an exponent, and that's right here. So I need to address that. And the only thing that's being squared is the 4. The negative is not affected by this. And so I'm going to take my time and go 8 times 6 minus 4 squared, which is 16. Now I'm going to move along. I have to do multiplication and division. I'm looking at both of these. As it stands right now, there's no division, so I don't have to worry about that, but there is multiplication. So I will have 4 times 6, which is 48, minus 16. Now I've taken care of that. Finally, I'm at the addition-subtraction phase. There's no addition, but there is subtraction. And so I have to do 48 minus 16, which is 32. And that's how we use order of operations. Let's take a look at another example. In this one, we'll mix things up and give you a different look. 9 minus 24 divided by 6. Okay, so here, again, I'll rewrite PEMDAS so we can kind of walk through it together. Address the parentheses. That's what's happening on the inside here. So I'm going to rewrite everything that's outside the parentheses and do what's in the parentheses, which is 24 divided by 6, which is 4. And then I've taken care of parentheses. There's no exponents. There's no multiplication or division anymore, and all I'm left with is subtraction. And so 9 minus 4, 5. Box it, walk away. Now for the next couple examples, I want to use the same numbers, but change a few things up. So for number 3, let's use 3 times 8 plus 4 divided by 2. Now I bring this up because this is a way that teachers like myself can try to trick you with order of operations by just kind of making sure you're paying attention to what you have in front of you. So as we've been doing, I'll write PEMDAS off to the side and I'll go through it. There's no parentheses, there's no exponents, but there is multiplication and division. Now here's something that we can kind of think about. This plus sign is kind of cutting my expression into two parts. So if I want to, I can do both my multiplication and division at the same time. I can go 3 times 8 for 24 plus 4 divided by 2, which is 2. Because there's that plus sign, and it's a different type of operation, it really puts a little line between this, and I can do both of these at the same time. And so now I'm on to addition subtraction, 24 plus 2, 26, box it, walk away. Now, as promised, let's use the same numbers. 3, 8, 4, 2. But this time, let's go 3 plus 8 divided by 3 plus 8 divided by 4 plus 2. Now here we have to be very careful. You're going to see 3 plus 8, and you're going to be tempted to do that. You might even see 4 plus 2 and be tempted to do that first, but that's not how it works. We have to use our order of operations. And according to our order of operations, we have to do our multiplication and division first. I have to do this, 8 divided by 4. So I'll get 3 plus 2 plus 2. Now I can do my subtraction, which is going to be 3 plus 2, 5, plus 2 is 7. And so this is where order of operations really helps us sort through all these numbers and arrive at an answer that we can feel with greater confidence is correct. Finally, we'll do one final example where we kind of bring everything together. So let's say we have 3 times 6 divided by 2 plus 1 cubed minus 5 times 4. Again, we have to do our order of operations, PEMDAS. First, I'll address my parentheses. Not only do I have this set of parentheses, but I have this set. I need to do this at the very beginning. So I have 3 times 6 divided by 2 plus 1, which is 3, cubed, minus 5 times 4. Now I can deal with that, and I'm done with parentheses. So 3 times 2 cubed minus 5 times 4. Now when it comes to 2 cubed, or all this right here, only the 2 is being cubed. That 3 is being held together by multiplication, and that's something I have to do after exponents. So when I'm addressing the exponents, I'm looking at 2 cubed, which is 2 times 2 times 2. So I have 3 times 8. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 again is 8, minus 5 times 4. Now I'm in the multiplication division component, and so I will do my multiplication, 24 minus, and then since again I have a different type of operation, I can do this one at the same time, 20, and here I get 4. So that's order of operations in a nutshell. Again, it's a process for how to arrive at an answer when you have a bunch of different numbers and a bunch of different operations that you have to sort through. Good luck with your homework, and let me know if you have any questions.